is with me now. And the first thing that comes to mind when I read My Perfect Partner is he died. And, you know, I'd like to think I have cleared all that because that happened 40 years ago. And I've done a lot of work. I did a lot of NLP, I've done a lot of emotion code work, I've done a lot of tapping, I've done a lot of other work. I felt like there was some shifting on that when I was doing the breath work with Paul Sheely, and he linked that death of the guy in high school who was an infatuation. It was even worse because I really didn't know the guy that well. It was my first crush kind of thing, and infatuation. And he got out of our second date by 9 on me. And so when I was doing the breath work at Paul Sheely's workshop, he noticed the connection between my dad having left the hospital when my mother was in labor with me, and then my mother being in distress when I was born a few hours later because Dad had left and he couldn't be found. And, you know, so Dad left, and then Dad was in the Navy, so Dad did other leaving, and Dad was unfaithful to my mother, so he did other leaving, and Terry having left my, you know, what I thought was my soul connection. I had a very psychic connection with Terry. And when I was in high school, I was really psychic, and I always knew when I was going to see him in town. We both had those old Volvo 544s, the round back cars, only 2 in town, and Terry and I had them, and I always knew I was going to see him if I ran into him in town. And I just felt this real strong connection and was very psychic at that point, and I knew somebody was going to die that year. I had no idea it was going to be him, but I knew somebody would die. So there was just a really strong, I think, a soul connection. And so he left, and that left me feeling like my one, you know, the one perfect person, that was the languaging that hit me, left. And, you know, then Paul linked it back to the childhood stuff, which makes perfectly good sense, that the trauma's emphasized. And you know, my parents didn't realize when Terry died how much that devastated me. And I did pack that away for many years and set it aside.
Yeah, well, it's fine to unpack it now,
Yeah.
that and all the other things as well, and they're all kind of wrapped in a bundle. But you have access to them now, which is great.
Yeah.
And so, where in your body do you feel those feelings welling up inside of you?
I'm getting a little choked up in my throat.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm feeling it right now. Yeah.
And are you still at 7, or are you higher or lower?
Oh, I think we've raised it up a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's when you pile all that together, it's a little more intense to think about. Yeah.
Well, let's work in reverse order here. Let's work on all the losses first with the 9 gamut. Okay. Then, after that, we'll focus on each individual loss and work on them one by one using other techniques. So we'll start with the 9 gamut, and this is great when there's a lot of emotion and you want to work on a whole bunch of similar events simultaneously. So you've got all these different losses in your life, starting with your loss of your father at your birth.
And there's more because he was in the Navy and we moved every few years, and I lost all my friends. I lost everything every time we moved. Every 3 or 4 years I had to start over. When you're saying the word loss, it's like, yeah, I cried a lot every time we moved.
And so you keep on starting over and try to make progress on your soulmate, your friends, your life, being loved, being connected, and then once it just gets yanked from under you, it just disappears.
And then I kept moving. After I left home, I went to Dallas, and I was there for 13 years, but I moved around Dallas, and since Dallas, I've moved every few years to another location and started over again. At my own choice, but the impact's the same. You lose. I'm trying to stay put now.
Yeah.
4 years.
Yeah.
Place.
Yeah. Okay, so let's tap over here And let's just have compassion on you, the person you are now, you, the little girl you were then, you being born, your mother when you were being born, delivering you, and just hold all of those together and do the 9 gamut and just feel compassion and love for you, that person that's endured all of these shifts and losses from the very, very first part of your life. So tap on the reversal point, and we'll shift to the 9 gamut point. Close your eyes and open them. Eyes hard down to the left. And hold your eyes there for a few moments and say, all these losses.
All these losses.
Eyes to the right. Hold it there. Say, a life full of losses.
A life full of losses.
From birth onward.
From birth onward.
Keep your eyes there. People I wanted.
People I wanted.
Weren't there for me.
Weren't there for me.
Eyes hard down to the left again. They died.
They died.
They left.
They left.
I left.
I left.
Things happened.
Things happened.
Okay, eyes in a big circle, follow my fingers. I wanted these people in my life.
I wanted these people in my life.
I wanted them to stay.
I wanted them to stay.
And they left.
And they left.
I wanted more than anything else
I wanted more than anything else
for these people to stay.
for these people to stay.
For Dad to stay.
For Dad to stay.
For Mom to stay.
For Mom to stay.
For Terry to stay.
For Terry to stay.
For me to stay.
For me to stay.
But I left.
But I left.
Or they left.
Or they left.
People leave you.
People leave you.
People leave me.
People leave me.
I have compassion on myself
I have compassion on myself
with all these people leaving me.
with all these people leaving me.
People might always leave me.
People might always leave me.
I might always leave people.
I might always leave people.
This might be the pattern of my life,
This might be the pattern in my life,
of the rest of my life,
all the rest of my life,
or it might not be.
or it might not be.
I might stay put
I might stay put
for 4 more years.
for 4 more years.
I might find connections
I might find connections
that last the rest of my life.
that last the rest of my life.
I might not,
I might not,
but whether I do
but whether I do
or whether I don't,
or whether I don't,
I have compassion
I have compassion
on that little girl
on that little girl
who wanted her dad there,
who wanted her dad there,
who wanted her mom to feel good
who wanted her mom to feel good
during her birth,
during her birth,
who wanted Terry to stay,
who wanted Terry to stay,
who wanted people to stay,
who wanted people to stay,
who wanted herself to stay,
who wanted herself to stay,
and they didn't always stay. They didn't always stay.
and didn't always stay.
I didn't always stay.
I didn't always stay.
And I love and accept myself,
I love and accept myself.
and have compassion on myself,
I have compassion on myself,
whether I stay
whether I stay
or whether I go.
or whether I go.
Okay, take a breath. So tune back into that feeling and see what number it is right now after doing the 9 gamut on those issues.
My throat's a lot less constricted.
Okay.
I feel a little tension there, but just like a 2.
Okay.
Little tension.
Okay, so let's work now, starting from your birth. Let's start there. So tell the story, tap, and let's see how much of the energy we can discharge around just your birth story. Okay, so.
And this is something my mother told me recently,
Right.
actually, fairly recently, that the night I was born early in the morning after midnight, but it was late evening when she went to the hospital, and she told my dad that they're going to tell you to leave, but don't leave, because this is not going to take long. And he left anyway. And
Just hold it right there. What number are you now? Say he left anyway.
I feel more empathy for my mother, yeah, not me, but maybe a 4 or so.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay, good. So you feel empathy for your mother, your father left anyway. even though she asked him not to leave.
Yes, she asked him not to leave.
Let's just tap on all the points with that reminder phrase. She asked him not to leave.
She asked him not to leave.
And he left anyway.
And he left anyway.
I ask people not to leave.
I ask people not to leave.
And they leave anyway.
And they leave anyway.
I don't want to leave myself.
I don't want to leave myself.
And I leave anyway.
And I leave anyway.
I make sure I won't get left
I make sure I won't get left
anymore
anymore
by leaving people first.
by leaving people first.
I find things that are wrong with them
I find things that are wrong with them
so I can leave them
so I can leave them
and protect myself from the pain
and protect myself from the pain
of them leaving me.
of them leaving me.
And I love and accept myself,
And I love and accept myself,
even though I have this lifelong pattern
even though I have this lifelong pattern
of getting left.
of getting left.
I might have this pattern the rest of my life.
I might have this pattern the rest of my life.
This pattern might be gone now.
This pattern might be gone now.
Either way,
Either way,
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
I leave myself sometimes.
I leave myself sometimes.
I am there for me sometimes.
I'm there for me sometimes.
I abandon myself sometimes.
I abandon myself sometimes.
People abandon me sometimes.
People abandon me sometimes.
People never abandon me.
People never abandon me.
People always abandon me.
People always abandon me.
I always abandon me.
I always abandon me.
I never abandon me.
I never abandon me.
And whether or not I abandon them,
And whether or not I abandon them,
whether or not they abandon me,
whether or not they abandon me,
I totally, fully, deeply, and completely accept myself.
I totally, fully, deeply, and completely accept myself.
I love myself,
I love myself,
abandoning others,
abandoning others,
abandoning me,
abandoning me,
and being abandoned.
and being abandoned.
I completely love and accept myself,
I completely love and accept myself.
however it all turns out.
However it all turns out.
Being abandoned,
Being abandoned,
never being abandoned,
never being abandoned,
always being abandoned,
always being abandoned,
abandoning others,
abandoning others,
others abandoning me,
others abandoning me,
abandonment,
abandonment,
no abandonment.
no abandonment.
They're always there.
They're always there.
I'm always there.
I'm always there.
I'm never there.
I'm never there.
They're never there.
They're never there.
And however it works out,
However it works out,
I have compassion
I have compassion
for the me
for the me
that's there,
that's there,
that's always there.
that's always there.
Whether or not others are there,
Whether or not others are there,
whether or not I am there,
whether or not I'm there.
I love and have compassion for me,
I love and have compassion for me,
however I am,
however I am,
however many other people are there,
however many other people are there,
however few people are there,
however few people are there,
however many move away,
however many move away,
or die or abandon me.
or die or abandon me.
I have compassion on myself.
I have compassion on myself.
Okay, so on your arm, and then writing sharp point, take a breath. And just think back to the story now of your mother and the birth. Maybe tell it again and see how much emotional impact it has on you now.
Okay? So, when Mom was ready to deliver me, Dad took her to the hospital. She told him not to leave, that it wouldn't be long, and he left anyway. It's late evening. And she says I was born shortly after midnight. She looked at the clock, and that he wasn't there, and nobody could find him. They didn't know where he was. And so she was distraught and spent those first hours that I was around in distress.
Okay, so what number are you around that story as you tell it now, this last time?
Pretty neutral.
Okay,
Yeah, pretty neutral.
okay. So let's fast forward then to your, say, maybe 8 or 9 years old, and that photograph you described earlier. So what was the photograph about? And
There's a photograph of me in a little ballet costume and with a big doll, tall doll, also in a little blue ballet costume. And this would be, actually, we were living in Sanford, Florida, very close to here, for a year or two. And I remember being told things about being here, but I don't remember any of the, I can't actually remember anything, but I remember being told a few things about here and seeing that picture and knowing that I had taken some ballet lessons when I was here. I do have one kind of thought about one step in ballet where you bring your knee up and you circle your foot. And that's so funny that I have that one little thought, memory of a movement in a class. I don't know. It may have been some other class, but that comes to mind with that. But so I would imagine that we would have had some kind of performance, and that I would have wanted my dad to be there, and he may not have been around at that time. I'm sure there were many events that he wasn't present for.
Let's do the 9 gamut on those. So, gamut point, close your eyes and open them. Eyes hard down to the left, keep your head steady. Eyes hard down to the right. Eyes a big circle all the way around. He was never present for my events.
He was never present for my events.
I wanted him there.
I wanted him there.
And he wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
All my wanting.
All my wanting.
Couldn't keep him there.
Couldn't keep him there.
All my desire.
All my desire.
For him to be there.
For him to be there.
Was totally unsuccessful.
Was totally unsuccessful.
And he wasn't there.
And he wasn't there.
My wanting couldn't.
My wanting couldn't keep him there.
Keep him there.
Couldn't keep him there.
All my wanting.
All my wanting.
Couldn't keep him there.
Couldn't keep him there.
Everything I was.
Everything I was.
As a child.
As a child.
Couldn't keep him there.
Couldn't keep him there.
He was always gone.
He was always gone.
Even though I wanted him there.
Even though I wanted him there.
I wanted him there.
I wanted him there.
And he was always gone.
He was always gone.
During my ballet recital.
During my ballet recital.
He was gone.
He was gone.
You never saw the girl in the blue dress.
You never saw the girl in the blue dress.
You never saw the doll.
Never saw the doll.
I wanted him there.
I wanted him there.
He wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
And I totally accept myself.
And I totally accept myself.
And my life the way it was.
And my life the way it was.
And my life the way it is.
And my life the way it
Okay,
is.
take a breath. Okay, so think back to the picture of the little girl, big doll, blue ballet dress.
It's funny, my thinking shifted it right at the end of that to the fact that it's been 5 years, like in a couple days, since Dad died. And so he's gone now. And I got to spend time with him, you know, and I was there when he passed. And I felt like our relationship was as good as it could have been at that time. I don't have any regrets about that. I think as a person, he grew a lot in this lifetime. I don't think he was a very evolved soul. And I could see his evolution in the lifetime that he had here. And even though there were a lot of disappointments for me as a child, I think that he made good progress for himself if I look at it from that broader perspective. So I feel pretty good about that aspect of it. And I'm very pleased that I was available to him at the end. He was there.
Yeah, so you feel good about yourself.
Yeah, for having been there. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you being the way you were may have helped him make that progress from not being a very evolved person emotionally or with connection. You making the connection may have helped.
I don't know. Yeah, it might have. I know that at the end, his wife, which was his second wife, would never really be honest about what was going on with him and the fact that he was dying. And when I was alone with him, I would always say, you realize the only way out is you're gone. He's like, I'm okay with that. He was ready. The last couple of years, the dialogue with him, I could tell that he was preparing to transition.
Right.
And so you kind of hear that in people's languaging.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So as he talked to you in the last couple of years, you could just sense he was...
He was done.
Yes.
He was done.
Yeah.
And that was okay. And I just wanted to know that he was okay with that he wasn't struggling or fearful or anything. And
Right.
he seemed very okay. He was ready to go.
Yeah, that's what you needed to know.
Yeah.
That he was
I just
okay with
wanted to know
that.
He was okay with that, yeah.
Yeah. And are you okay with him being gone now?
Yeah.
He's died now, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got real tickled a couple years ago. I was riding my bike on his birthday, which was last Saturday was when we started this, was his birthday. And I was riding my bike in my neighborhood, and an ice cream truck went by playing Happy Birthday. I was like, well, happy birthday, Dad.
I wonder how you arranged that.
He was good.
Pull some strings on the other side.
Yeah. It was like, wow, okay, cool. That's good.
That's funny. That's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
That was good.
Yeah.
I like those connections.
So this is a good one to focus on and tap on, because this is a loss and a going away which you've really come to terms with and really feel resolved about and feel good about.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a real healing step for you to
I hadn't thought about that, but
see
yeah.
it that way. Yeah.
It is. It's
Yeah. So this isn't another just hopeless, meaninless loss.
No, it was timely. It was,
Mhm.
you know, he was 77. He was done. He was ready to go. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. And you were able to let him go
Yeah.
as well. You were demanding heroic measures.
Oh no, I was
keep
the one
alive.
saying, please bring in hospice. He's ready. Let him
Yeah.
go. His wife was more resistant and
Yeah.
didn't want to give up hope.
Yeah.
I was, you know, it wasn't my decision. It was hers, but I was certainly on the hospice side.
Yes.
Grateful for them and what they're able to contribute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after thinking about your dad's death now, just think back to the little girl, blue dress, all the times he wasn't there.
Mhm.
Maybe he was cheating on your mom, maybe he was at sea, he just wasn't there for you or for her.
Mhm.
And just see what your body's telling you as you reflect back on this, as you think back and tap.
I feel pretty neutral.
Okay.
He did the best he could, and I know
Right.
that. You know, I see that. And I do remember, for some reason, and this, I do have kind of a memory, but this is junior high school age, I somehow remember he and I cooking dinner once in a while together. And I don't remember now what we fixed, but there was something that we did cooking together. And that's one of few memories of me actually spending time with him as a child. He was more likely to be out working on cars, and my brother was in that, you know.
Okay.
stuff.
So he did the best he could.
He did.
Now let's transfer that feeling to you.
Okay.
So, Gamut point, close your eyes and open them. Eyes hard to the left. Keep your head steady, eyes hard to the right. Eyes in a big circle. He did the best he could.
He did the best he could.
My dad 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 did the best he could.
My mom did the best she could.
My mom did the best she could.
My dad did the best he could.
My dad did the best he could.
My mom did the best she could.
My mom did the best she could.
I did the best I could.
I did the best I could.
It wasn't always easy,
It wasn't always easy,
but I did the best I could.
but I did the best I could.
I do the best I can now.
I do the best I can now.
I'm always doing the best I can.
I'm always doing the best I can.
That's true, isn't it? You always are doing the best you can.
I think so.
Yeah. You try really hard.
I do try hard.
Yeah. It isn't always perfect,
It's not always perfect.
but you are trying hard.
I am trying hard.
You are doing the best you can.
I am doing the best I can.
I am doing the best I can.
I am doing the best I can.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Doing the best I can.
Doing the best I can.
Whether I leave,
Whether I leave,
whether I don't leave,
whether I don't leave,
whether they leave,
whether they leave,
whether they don't leave,
whether they don't leave.
they're doing the best they can.
They're doing the best they can.
I'm doing the best I can.
I'm doing the best I can.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
I have compassion on myself.
I have compassion on myself.
I don't have to be quite so hard on myself
I don't need to be quite so hard on myself.
and so demanding of myself.
I'm so demanding of myself.
I can let go
I can let go
and really love myself
and really love myself
here and now.
here and now.
Okay, take a breath. Hmm. How does your body feel at the moment?
A lot more relaxed.
Yeah, you look a lot more relaxed. Yeah, your shoulders look lower.
Yeah, a lot less
Your
tension.
neck looks like you're moving more easily. Yeah, and let's just go back to that statement that triggered you earlier. My perfect partner is with me now. When I say that affirmation, my perfect partner is with me now, how do you feel in your body?
I tend to be more verbal, so my response to that in my mind, which is more than my body, is, where is that guy? Kind of more looking and looking for the possibility.
Right.
Instead of that morbid, he's dead.
Right.
Yeah.
That's something more positive take on it.
Yeah. Okay, so that one croaked. Move on. He couldn't handle being on Earth.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can, and you're here.
Because I am handling it. I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also think about you leaving yourself, and how a lot of this may be about your perfect partner being you, there for you.
Mm-hmm.
That may be a really important step for you to be fully there in and of yourself for you.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no possibility of you leaving you. You're abandoning yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I do take pretty good care of myself. I actually do. I've been pretty good at that.
Good. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. I feel so honored to have witnessed your process. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm.
Appreciate it. Feel better.
Good. Good. Thanks.